Hello students, already we have started with this chapter, that is nutrition in plants. Yesterday I taught you that the autotrophic nutrition in plants and the process photosynthesis. Today I am going to teach you the heterotrophic nutrition in plants. Some plants do not have chlorophyll and cannot photosynthesize. So they have to depend on the other plants for their nutrition, for their growth and development. This type of nutrition is called heterotrophic nutrition, and the plants which depend on the other plants for their nutrition, they are called the heterotrophic plants. So there are some heterotrophic plants and they are classified into some name, that is parasitic, saprophytic, insectivorous and symbiotic. Now we have to go through individually that what is parasitic plants, what is the saprophytic plants, insectivorous plants and what is symbiotic plants. So let us start with parasitic plants. A plant that partially or completely depends upon another plant for nutrition is called a parasitic plant. So the parasitic plants can be partially dependent or can be completely dependent. Now the mode of nutrition of the parasitic plants is called the parasitic nutrition, and the plant from which they are getting the nutrients is called the host plant. So roots in the parasitic plants helped to penetrate into the stem of the roots of the host plant. By roots they can get the minerals, water or whatever the nutrients they need from the host plant. The parasitic plants always harms the host plant by depriving the host from valuable nutrients. However, the host plant is rarely killed in a parasitic relationship. Now, the parasitic plants can be of two types. One is complete parasites, the another is partial parasite. Now, what is complete parasite? Parasitic plants that completely depend on the host plant for their survival are called complete parasites. They do not have their chlorophyll, so they cannot make their food by their own. Cuscuta Dodders is complete parasite. It's an example of complete parasites, and it has a special root-like structure called hostoria that grow into the tissue of the host plant and draw nutrients and water. You can see the dodder plant that is wrapping the host plant, and from the host plant they are getting their necessary nutrients. Now partial parasites. Parasitic plants, they do not depend completely on the host plant for their survival, are called partial parasites. They depend partially on the host plants because they usually have chlorophyll, and therefore they can prepare their food by themselves by photosynthesis process. However, these plants depend on the other plants for minerals and water. Mistletoe is a partial parasite as it has chlorophyll. Mistletoe can make their own food by photosynthesis but depend on the host plant for water and minerals. So we can see that the parasitic plants are of two types, complete parasite and partial parasites. Now saprophytic plants. A plant that obtain nutrients from dead and decaying plant and animals is called a saprophytic plants. The mode of nutrition in saprophytic plant is called saprophytic nutrition. In saprophytic plants, they are usually non-green. They do not have any leaves. However, some plants bear bright flowers. These plants often grow in shady areas. Indian pipe, you can see Indian pipe, coral root, these are example of saprophytic plants, and they process saprotrophic nutrition. The fungi secrete some digestive juices on the dead and decaying plants and animal matter and convert it into a solution. The nutrients present in the solution and then used by the saprotrophic plants. Now, insectivorous plants. Plants that obtain nutrients by trapping and digesting the insects are called insectivorous plants. Examples: Venus flytrap, pitcher plant, sundew. Now, how they do their own food, how they make their own food? By capturing the insects. See, the leaves of the pitcher plant are modified into pitcher-like structure. It's a pitcher-like structure. The tip of the leaf is modified into a lid that can be closed and opened when they capture an insect. The inner walls of the pitcher plant have their downward directing hair-like structure. A fluid containing many digestive juices is present at the bottom of the pitcher, and this juice digests the protein present in the insect's body. The leaves of a Venus flytrap plant are modified to trap insects. The entire leaf is divided into the two parts that in midribs. It makes a hinge. And there is the hair-like structure, sharp hair-like projections on the edge. When any insect touches the edge or sits here on the leaf, they immediately shuts down both the parts, and inside it the insect gets killed, and they suck the nitrogenous digestive juices from the insect's body. Now the sundew plants. It has a sharp needle-like structures on the body, and it gets sucked in the mucilage. The sticky portion is called mucilage. When an insect touches the tentacles, it sucks the mucilage. The tentacles then fold inward and wrap the insect inside. The trapped insect is then digested. So, insectivorous plants are capturing insects, and they sucks the nitrogenous compound by their secreting juice from their body and kill the insects and gets the nutrients for their own growth and development. This is how the insectivorous plants not only make their food, actually they sucks their nutrients for their development. Now symbiotic plants. Symbiotic plants means plants that live in a mutual relationship with one another, organisms that both can share nutrients and do not harm one another is called the symbiotic plants. This type of association is called symbiosis. In a symbiotic relationship, both the organisms gain from each other without harming either of them. So example is lichen. That is the example of symbiotic association between algae and fungi. The autotrophic algae is green, so it has chlorophyll and it can make its own food. This is algae, and this is fungi. Fungi doesn't have chlorophyll, so it has to depend on algae for water and minerals. So fungi provide water and minerals shelter to the algae, and the algae helps the saprotrophic fungi because it is autotrophic. It gives its chlorophyll and it gives water, mineral and shelter. This is how they helps each other without harming either of them, and they associate in a symbiosis relationship. That's why it's called symbiotic plant. Similarly, a bacteria named Rhizobium have a symbiotic relationship with the leguminous plant such as peas, beans. They live on the root nodules of the leguminous plants. And Rhizobium helps to convert the atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia and eventually convert it into nitrates. That helps the plants for their development. So the plants get the nitrate compounds from the roots, that is absorbed by the Rhizobium, and in turn the plant provides food and shelter to the bacteria. So the bacteria is in a symbiotic relationship with the leguminous plants. Now, replenishing nutrients in the soil. Here we can see that we need a soil replenishment for the plants such that they can grow easily. Now, over a period of time, soil becomes deficient in these nutrients. Therefore, soil needs to be replenished with the nutrients from time to time. Now, manures and fertilizers are rich in plant nutrients and used by the farmers to enrich the soil. Leguminous plants such as peas, beans, gram, they have the root nodules in which the nitrogen fixing bacteria Rhizobium live. The Rhizobium helps to absorb the nitrogen from the air and convert it into a nitrogenous compound, and the nitrogenous compound is absorbed by the plant. So there is a symbiotic relationship between leguminous plant and Rhizobium, and at the same time the replenishment of soil is happening. So the growing leguminous plants alternately help each other crops and restores the nitrogen content of the soil. So in this chapter we have learned so many things, and especially the nutrients in plants. The chapter is today ended. Tomorrow I'll post the question answers of the exercise, and students are requested to go through the chapter and please read the question and answers when I'll upload it. Thank you.